Thank you for having us.
It's great meeting you.
Yes. So I would just like to ask you a few questions for the budding entrepreneurs. I would like to know why you became an entrepreneur. Because we've read your book and it's quite interesting. We would urge everyone to go look for the book, The UT Story by Captain Prince Amoabeng. We've read that. That is why we are here with him. So we'd like to ask him a few questions so that the entrepreneur in you will also have that kick. So why did you start entrepreneurship, sir?
I started entrepreneur by default. I enrolled into the armed forces straight from university. That's after national service. And I was a true soldier. I was never ever going to come out of the military. But then there was the first revolution, AFRC. I was in the country. Then I came back to the country, and then there was PNDC, and the army had turned upside down completely, with a whole lot of things that I wouldn't want to mention here. And therefore, I decided that this was not the army I joined, so I left. So when I left, there were no jobs at the time. You remember in '83, Rolling Sheen and all those things. So I started following my next door neighbor, who was a businessman. And before I realized I was doing business. So I wasn't a cut-out business person. I was a military man forced into business.
That's quite interesting. So what do you think accorded you that success in something that you didn't even plan to do?
It's a military discipline. Right from the beginning, I wasn't cut out as a typical Ghanaian businessman, because I spoke too much truth and I was too direct. And if my business partners felt I shouldn't give out all the information because they have to actually embellish it or create something out of it, and I didn't see the need for it. So initially, I would say I was in the wilderness. I had to learn how to cope with Ghanaian businesses, Ghanaian banks, and all those things. And for 15 years, that's what I was doing until I started Unique Trust in 1997. So what I mean is, coming from the military into business wasn't easy. But I stuck it out there, and eventually we were able to create UT and UT Bank and the rest.
So for challenges, I know there will be a lot, but we want to focus on the positive part.
Yeah.
We'd like to know what you enjoyed most about being an entrepreneur.
Well, being an entrepreneur, it's not the only source of living that you have to go through. But of course, you see your creation, and you also have your freedom to manage your time as you want it. Yeah. And you can create the wealth that you want to create. So you own your own future and aspirations and things like that. Of course, it's also riskier. But here's a situation where most of the youth are unemployed.
Yes.
So it's better to take some kind of risk instead of sitting home and complaining there are no jobs. So yes, it's nice to be an entrepreneur, and it's nice to own your own business and own your own feet, but it also requires taking some risks or taking some steps forward.
Yes, that's interesting. So when I read the book, what I found very interesting as an entrepreneur was that you spoke about the UT culture, something that you impacted that you think was one of the key things that made the workplace a very good environment and very successful UT, as you said. So what did you do, and how do you think it contributed to a successful environment?
For every entrepreneur in Ghana or in Africa generally, we have our own cultures and traditional settings that do not augur well for the business setting.
That's true.
And that also has undue influence, negative most of the time, on the business setting. So, for example, when people start businesses, the obvious thing they want to employ their friends or work with their friends and
families,
bring their relatives and things in it. It's got its advantages because then you know them already and so on and so forth. But it's got huge disadvantages because with relatives and friends and family, you cannot really let policies work. So what we did was to create a culture which was different from the cultures that most people are coming from. And the culture is based on respect for everybody. Right? It's not about this one is Nana or this one is this, but respect for all, from the cleaner or messenger to the MD. And it requires establishing policies and frameworks and legal whatever for the company, which applies to everybody from the CEO or the MD to the lowest person. That is one. Two, the leader must live the way he or she wants everybody to live. You should, because people are watching you all the time. In a nutshell, you should live by being God-fearing. Because the Bible says, love thy neighbor as thyself. All I'm saying is respect everybody. If you are God-fearing, it's easy for you to run an outfit where you have a great culture, that people are respected and they feel they belong, and they must be aligned to the vision of the company, where the company wants to go. And there should be incentives and rewards and sanctions, which applies to everybody. When people know that, yes, if you do the right thing, you get rewarded. If you do the wrong thing, you are out of here. And the leader is leading by example. It's very easy, and you create a different culture. At UT, we had a culture of respect for all. We had a culture of integrity and honesty. We had a culture of even Ubuntu, as in I am because you are, and had other values like why not? Because that is about being innovative all the time to try to solve the problem for the customer, and so on and so forth. If you create that kind of environment, everybody is there for the other person, and it's easier to run your outfit. Otherwise, most outfits that I find in Ghana, the brother is treated differently, the uncle is also working somewhere. Sometimes even the wife is doing some part of the business, and therefore people are treated differently depending on their connection. That is a toxic environment.
That's very impactful and interesting. So a personal and work balance, family, personal and work balance. How do you make that work?
I think basically you need your family and you need your work.
Yes.
And one thing which helps is communication completely and transparency. Your family should know what your job is about, and you should communicate to them and even seek the ideas for issues that you have with the company. But do not absorb them into the company. Try to draw a line. Family is family. How do we do this? Somebody has done it. What do you think? But of course, you, the leader, must make the final decision. Once they understand your business and the problems you are facing and the time you need to commit to the business, they will understand that you can't be there for certain functions, you can't be there at certain times, and they will even sympathize with you. In my personal case, I was lucky because my wife had left me with the kids, so I was free. But in a normal home, you need to be transparent, you need to share the problems of the business with your family and let them be aligned with the issues that you're facing, so that they will understand and give you room to operate.
That's an awesome insight. I'm sure a lot of entrepreneurs will use this and have a clear divide between work and personal balance, basically. So finally, I would like to ask, do you have any message for the youth, or what would you like to tell the budding entrepreneur, someone who is indoors thinking that I want to be an entrepreneur?
I have a lot to share with the youth. I mean, that is why I set up the Kofi Amoabeng Leadership Foundation. I think we need leaders who have got a different mindset. And our vision is really to create leaders in Africa who have a revolutionized mindset. A mindset which is different from what we have now. Yeah. Because as a leader, you're supposed to care for the people and note that God puts you in a leadership position because you are supposed to impact lives and make it positive. Leadership is not about exploiting the people at all. It's about serving the people. And I think we have to get this in Africa. So I'm happy that the youth have, in this case, opportunity from Aggregate.
Yeah.
They can start their own businesses. And once you start small, you create your own culture and you actually bring in people that you can influence and let them imbibe in the culture to grow it. We're talking about 100 seeds to start. It will be a great story when you start and you get passionate about it, and then you get other people to come in, either as partners or employees, and grow your business and become an entrepreneur, and you shape people's lives. Like when I was a kid, one thing I didn't understand was there's dignity in work. And I was thinking, yeah, if you're going to work, where's the dignity?
Yeah.
But really, when you have a business or you're working, then you have the opportunity or the platform to impact people's life, which is why we're here.
Yes.
So the youth are being encouraged, and I tell them they should have a different mindset, create a different culture, have respect for people, be God-fearing, and your purpose here is to add something to the world of which you are a part. And I think this has to go down well with us. But to be really impactful, you must build capacities, you must build the necessary wealth and properties a little bit. But use those properties and the wealth and the capacity you have to impact lives, not to show off as most people do. It's about getting the capacities to actually make your life meaningful, to please your creator.
Captain, this has been very insightful. I really appreciate. For instance, I've gotten a lot from it, that as a leader, you have to create value. You have to be impactful and touch a lot of lives, basically. So everyone listening, everyone watching, this has been few minutes with Captain Amoabeng, and then we hope that it will come your way again next time. Adios.